Most people step into the world of manifestation, believing that the universe speaks through signs. They wait for repeating numbers on the clock, a phrase overheard at just the right moment, or a sudden coincidence to confirm they are on the right path. And while synchronicities are real and often beautiful, they are not the ultimate compass. In fact, when you rely too heavily on external proof, you might unknowingly delay the very shift you've been longing for. The truth is both simpler and more profound. Your intuition is the real quantum signal, the silent frequency that already knows where you are meant to go. Before the universe whispers through numbers or coincidences, it speaks through you. And this is the key that most people overlook. Think about this. Every great decision you've ever made, every time your life turned in a new and transformative direction, there was a moment where something inside of you simply knew. Maybe it made no sense on paper. Maybe others told you it was too risky or too strange. And yet, when you followed that inner nudge, everything aligned afterward. This is not luck. This is not random chance. This is the quantum field responding to coherence. It responds to the resonance of your inner state, not the doubts of your outer seeking. When you say, "I'll only move forward if I see a sign," you are broadcasting hesitation. But when you act on the signal within you, the field bends, aligns, and rearranges reality around your choice. Science is beginning to catch up with this mystery. Neuroscience tells us that the brain processes vast amounts of information below the level of conscious awareness. What we call intuition is not a wild guess. It's the body's extraordinary ability to detect patterns and probabilities faster than the logical mind. And physics suggests something even more fascinating. Your consciousness is not isolated inside your skull. It is entangled with the field itself. That means your body is already in communication with future potentials. Intuition is the whisper of those futures reaching back toward you, saying, "This is the timeline that's waiting. Step into it." When you ignore that whisper, you keep searching for proof outside of yourself. When you trust it, you collapse reality instantly. Now imagine how different your life could feel if you stopped chasing signs outside and started recognizing the signals inside. The anxiety of waiting would dissolve. The doubt of wondering if you are on the right path would quiet down, because the path is not out there. It is inside you, unfolding step by step, with each decision made from resonance instead of fear. This is why so many spiritual teachers, from ancient mystics to modern quantum thinkers, remind us that stillness is the portal. Silence is not empty. It is the field where intuition can finally be heard. And when you live from that awareness, synchronicities do not stop happening. They multiply. But now they arrive not to convince you, but to confirm what you already knew. There's a saying in the mystical traditions, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." Quantum manifestation reveals that this is not just spiritual poetry. It is physics in motion. The field does not wait for your eyes to spot a number on the clock or your ears to hear a song lyric. The field waits for your nervous system to align with your decision. It responds to coherence. It responds to clarity. It responds when you stop outsourcing your power to random events and start embodying the vibration of your own truth. This is why some people seem to manifest effortlessly. They are not begging the universe for permission. They are broadcasting certainty from within. So the real open secret is this: synchronicity is not the beginning of manifestation. It is the echo. It is the ripple that follows after your inner choice has already been made. Which means if you are waiting for external signs before acting, you are living backwards. You are stuck in delay. But if you learn to tune into your inner compass, the intuitive pulse that beats faster when truth is near, the sudden calm that arises when you silently know, then the external world will simply mirror that certainty. Numbers will appear, doors will open, opportunities will align, but not as proof you needed. They arrive as celebration of what you already chose. And once you truly see this, your whole relationship with manifestation changes. Because here's the paradox. The more you look outside for guidance, the quieter your intuition becomes. And the more you trust your intuition, the louder the universe seems to confirm it. This is the reversal that most never notice, which means that your task right now is not to chase another sign, not to wait for another coincidence, but to lean in, close your eyes, and listen to the resonance already speaking within your chest. That's not imagination. That is the field itself. And when you follow it, you stop asking the universe for directions. You become the direction. If you think about it, the compass has always been one of humanity's most profound inventions. It doesn't show you the full map. It doesn't tell you the obstacles ahead. But with one silent pull, it reveals the direction. Intuition works exactly like that. It doesn't always explain itself. It doesn't hand you every detail of how things will unfold. But it provides alignment, a magnetic north inside your being. And just like the compass is tuned to Earth's magnetic field, your intuition is tuned to the quantum field. This is not metaphorical. It is literal. Studies in quantum biology reveal that even the smallest creatures, like birds migrating thousands of miles, use quantum entanglement in their eyes to navigate with astonishing precision. If nature itself uses quantum coherence as a guidance system, why would you imagine that you, a conscious being deeply entangled with the field, would not be equipped with the same mechanism? Your intuition is not a soft luxury. It is the most advanced navigation system the universe ever gave you. The problem is that most people have been trained to mistrust it. Society celebrates logic, strategy, and planning, while intuition is dismissed as superstition or emotional guesswork. But here's the paradox. Logic can only work with data from the past. It calculates based on what has already happened. Intuition, however, is a direct line to the probabilities of the future. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio showed how decision M collapses when the brain regions that process emotion and intuition are damaged. People with these impairments can analyze endlessly, but cannot choose because logic without intuition leads to paralysis. This reveals something shocking. Intuition is not opposed to intelligence. It is intelligence just expressed in a dimension beyond linear thinking. Quantum physics gives us an even deeper explanation. According to John Wheeler's participatory universe theory, reality doesn't fully crystallize until observation occurs. That means the future is not fixed. It exists in a range of possibilities. Your intuition is the echo of those possibilities, brushing against your awareness before they collapse. When you feel a sudden pull toward one choice, when a calm certainty arises in your chest with no explanation, that is not irrationality. It is resonance with a future timeline that already exists. And because your consciousness is entangled with the field, you can sense it before your rational mind can explain it. Einstein himself once said, "The only real valuable thing is intuition." He understood that beyond equations there is a knowing that leaps across space and time. But here's the catch. Intuition is quiet. It speaks in whispers, not shouts. And in a world filled with noise, constant notifications, endless comparison, and the pressure to always be logical, those whispers get drowned out. Most people say they can't hear their intuition. But in truth, it's not that intuition isn't speaking. It's that they've tuned the volume of external noise so high they can no longer perceive the subtler frequencies. Think about a radio. If you're blasting static at maximum volume, you'll never catch the signal of the station you're looking for. But once you slow down, once you begin to trust the space between thoughts, the station reveals itself clearly. That station is your inner compass, and it is broadcasting constantly. Now, why do we call it the quantum compass? Because it doesn't move in straight lines. It doesn't tell you first do A, then B, then C. It shows you resonance. You'll feel expansion when you are moving closer to the right frequency and contraction when you drift away. The body itself is designed to respond to this. Your nervous system will relax when you are in coherence with your true path, and will tighten when you are not. Joe Dispenza often emphasizes that the body is the unconscious mind, meaning it holds signals long before your intellect catches up. When you get chills for no reason, when your gut tightens in warning, or when your chest opens with excitement, these are not random sensations. They are feedback from the field. Your body is literally the receiver of quantum guidance. And yet, here's the tragic mistake. Most people dismiss these signals because they don't come wrapped in logic. They override them with overthinking. They wait for the external sign, the number sequence, the coincidence because they trust what they can see more than what they can feel. But manifestation doesn't respond to sight. It responds to vibration, and vibration is registered in your inner world before it ever appears in the outer world. This is why Neville Goddard taught that feeling is the secret. He knew that the inner compass is not optional. It is the gateway. Once you trust it, life no longer feels like endless effort. It becomes alignment, it becomes flow. So if intuition is truly your compass, then ignoring it is like walking blind in a forest while holding the map inside your pocket. You'll stumble. You'll struggle. You'll get lost. Not because the path wasn't there, but because you refused to use the instrument that was already given to you. The good news is this. Intuition is not a skill you need to acquire. It is a sense you need to remember. And the more you practice listening, the louder and clearer it becomes. Like any muscle, the more it's exercised, the stronger it grows. Which means your quantum compass is ready right now. The only question is, will you dare to trust it before the evidence arrives? Science has long taught us that decisions are made in the brain through rational thought. But research over the last decades has revealed something astonishing. The brain often makes a choice before the conscious mind even realizes it. In groundbreaking experiments, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet demonstrated that electrical activity in the brain, what he called the readiness potential, appeared a fraction of a second before participants reported having consciously decided to act. Later studies expanded this window to several seconds. What does this mean? That before your mind says, "I've decided," your body and subconscious are already moving in that direction. Now, let's place that insight into the quantum framework. The choice exists, not because your conscious brain willed it into being, but because your consciousness aligned with a probability in the quantum field, and your biology registered it first. This is where intuition meets science. Your nervous system is like an antenna picking up microsignals from the field. Just as a radio wave travels invisibly through space until a receiver tunes into it, your body picks up these subtle signals before they reach your logical awareness. HeartMath Institute researchers found that the heart is particularly sensitive to these pre-signals. In experiments, participants' heart rhythms shifted seconds before being shown emotionally charged images before the images were even selected by the computer. The implication is staggering. The human body doesn't just react to the future, it anticipates it. The heart, acting as a quantum receiver, senses the timeline that is about to collapse. This is the science behind why you sometimes just know something before it happens, or why a sudden sense of calm or dread fills you without explanation. Now imagine what this means for manifestation. If your body can sense a future reality seconds before it arrives, then manifestation isn't about waiting passively for proof. It's about becoming coherent enough to trust and act on those pre-signals. When your intuition says go this way, it's not a guess. It is resonance with the probability wave that is most aligned with your chosen outcome. Joe Dispenza often describes this as creating from the field rather than from matter. Matter requires time, effort, and force. The field works instantly, but only when you align with the vibration. The pre-signals are the whispers of the field saying, "This is the door. Walk through it before your mind convinces you to turn away." Quantum theory supports this. In superposition, all possible states exist at once. When you decide, you collapse the wave into a particular state. But here's the secret most miss. The collapse begins before you think you decided. Your awareness of the choice lags behind the actual alignment. This is why manifestation is less about willpower and more about receptivity. If you train yourself to feel the pre-signals in your body, the sudden relaxation in your chest, the inexplicable spark of energy in your gut, the goosebumps that come with a decision, you will be ahead of your own mind. You will act from resonance instead of resistance. Think about times in your life when you followed a gut feeling without knowing why. Later you realized that decision opened doors, prevented problems, or connected you with exactly the right people. That wasn't coincidence. That was you responding to the pre-signal before your rational brain could interfere. On the other hand, recall the times you ignored your intuition, convincing yourself with logic to go another way. How often did those paths lead to unnecessary struggle? This is not mystical fantasy. It is the quantum field at work, showing you that the information you need is already available in the subtle layers of your awareness. And it gets even more fascinating. Researchers studying presentiment, the body's ability to sense future events, suggest that consciousness is not bound by linear time the way we think. Dean Radin of the Institute of Noetic Sciences has conducted dozens of experiments showing physiological changes in participants before random future events occurred. His conclusion is bold. Consciousness is non-local, entangled with information across time, which means your intuition isn't predicting the future. It's accessing the field where the future already exists in potential. When you feel those subtle signals, you are literally brushing against a timeline that is trying to merge with you. The practical implication is this: manifestation doesn't start when you think I want this. It starts in the milliseconds or even seconds before your thought. The field is already pulsing with the resonance of what you are about to align with. If you slow down enough, if you cultivate awareness through meditation, coherence practices, or breath work, you will catch those signals in real time. This is why ancient spiritual traditions emphasized silence, presence, and stillness. They weren't just rituals. They were training to notice the field's signals, and modern science is finally catching up, confirming what mystics have always said. The universe whispers before it shouts. So here is the great shift. Instead of asking, how do I make manifestation happen, the real question becomes, how do I sense it already beginning? Once you reframe your approach this way, manifestation becomes less of a chase and more of a recognition. You are no longer trying to force an outcome into existence. You are tuning into the signals, the subtle alignments that reveal the outcome already forming. And when you trust those signals, you collapse reality with precision. If the quantum field is always whispering before reality collapses, the real mastery is not in controlling the field, but in learning to listen. The problem is that most people live in such noise, mental chatter, emotional turbulence, external distractions, that the whispers of the field are drowned out. You may already have felt these signals, those subtle nudges that arrive as intuition, a sudden sense of knowing, a quiet spark in the body, or a gut feeling you can't explain. But the key is consistency. How do you train yourself to recognize these signals not once in a while, but as a way of life? The answer lies in 3 steps, a simple but radical shift in how you engage with the present moment. The first step is quieting the interference. Think of your nervous system as a tuning fork. If it is overstimulated, chaotic, or dysregulated, it cannot resonate with subtle frequencies. Joe Dispenza emphasizes this in Becoming Supernatural. The body must leave survival mode to enter creation mode. As long as your nervous system is firing stress chemicals, you are locked in old patterns and the field cannot deliver new information. The practice here is coherence. Begin with breath. Slow, intentional breathing that signals safety to the body. HeartMath calls this heart coherence. Breathing as if you are inhaling through the heart, extending the exhale, and feeling gratitude. This resets the nervous system and reduces noise, opening your awareness to the subtle signals that usually go unnoticed. Without this first step, the whispers of the field are lost in static. The second step is attuning to sensation instead of thought. The brain is excellent at analyzing, but analysis often comes too late after the signal has already passed. Instead of waiting for logical clarity, bring your awareness to micro-sensations in the body. Maybe it's a tingling in the skin, a sudden shift in temperature, a flutter in the stomach, or even an unexplained calm. These are not random. Studies in presentiment research by Dean Radin revealed that the body often reacts seconds before the mind is aware. By bringing attention to these small shifts, you train yourself to catch the field's previews in real time. Meditation is powerful for this. When you sit in silence, watch your body closely, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Over time, you will notice that your body knows before your mind does, and that knowing is your compass. The third step is acting on the signal quickly. This is where most people fail. They sense something, a nudge to call a person, an urge to turn left instead of right, a spark of excitement about a new idea. But then the rational mind takes over. That doesn't make sense, it says. What if I'm wrong? And in that hesitation, the wave collapses into the old timeline. To live in quantum alignment, you must trust the first signal. Neville Goddard called this living in the end, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled immediately before logic interferes. In neuroscience, this is called feed-forward instead of feedback. You act not because of external validation, but because of internal resonance. And paradoxically, when you act on these pre-signals, external validation appears effortlessly. Synchronicities align, doors open, the right people show up, action locks the alignment in. Let's ground this in a practical exercise you can begin today. Set aside 10 minutes where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and imagine your heart as the center of awareness. Ask yourself, what does my body already know about what's coming? Then wait. Do not force images, do not chase answers, simply watch. Maybe a word arises, maybe a memory, maybe nothing but a shift in sensation. Accept it. Then for the next 24 hours, look for opportunities to act on even the smallest signal. Perhaps you feel drawn to open a book at random or send a message or take a walk at a certain time. Do it. These microactions train your nervous system to trust alignment rather than analysis. The more you follow, the stronger the signals become. There is also a deeper layer here. Detachment from control. Many people miss pre-signals because they are obsessed with outcomes. They want the universe to deliver in a very specific way at a very specific time. But the quantum doesn't operate by human deadlines. It operates by readiness. By dropping the need to control the how and when, you create the space to notice what is actually unfolding. Often the pre-signals are subtle corrections, nudges that guide you down paths your rational mind would never choose. And yet those paths lead to the exact reality you were seeking, just not in the form you expected. The irony of manifestation is that the less you force it, the faster it arrives. Finally, understand that this is not about perfection. You will miss signals. You will second-guess yourself. That's natural. The shift happens when you commit to noticing anyway. Each time you honor even one subtle nudge, you strengthen the bridge between your conscious awareness and the quantum field. Over time, you will realize that reality does not surprise you anymore because you have already felt it in advance. The whispers were always there. You just weren't listening. Now you are. So here is your new practice. Quiet the noise, sense the signals, act immediately. Do this long enough and your life will look like magic to others. But to you it will feel natural because you finally learn to live in the space where manifestation happens before thought. And that is the real secret. So here's what I invite you to do right now to seal this awareness. Write in the comments below these words. I trust the flow. Write that down, not as a ritual, but as a declaration for the field. Now, here's the paradox. You've already received countless signals from the quantum field, but most of them you've ignored. Maybe it was that gut feeling that told you not to take a job, but you convinced yourself with logic that it was the safe choice. Maybe it was the subtle nudge to speak to someone, but you hesitated and later realized that person could have opened a door for you. These moments are not accidents. They are the echoes of your higher self, previewing a reality that already exists. The reason so many people feel stuck is not because the signals aren't coming. It's because they are dismissing them, rationalizing them away, or overriding them with fear. Ignoring the signals doesn't stop the quantum field from sending them. It just ensures you loop back into the same old timeline again and again. This is where neuroscience intersects with spirituality. Research in predictive processing shows that the brain is a pattern recognition machine. It is constantly filtering reality through expectations shaped by past experiences. So when a new signal arrives, something outside your established pattern, your brain often rejects it as irrelevant. Bruce Lipton calls this the biology of belief. Your subconscious programs filter what you even perceive. That means the quantum field may be whispering a completely new future. But if your filters are stuck in survival, you won't hear it. Instead, you'll recycle the familiar, mistaking it for destiny. This is why people repeat toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, or cycles of lack, not because the universe wants it, but because their nervous system only recognizes what feels familiar, even if it's painful. Spiritually, this is the lesson of detachment. When you cling too tightly to how you think life should unfold, you drown out the subtler nudges of how it actually wants to unfold. Neville Goddard often spoke of the danger of efforting from the wrong state, trying to force change from the level of lack instead of assuming the state of fulfillment. In the quantum, the signal is the invitation to shift timelines. But if you ignore it, you default back to the old script. It's not punishment, it's physics. The field mirrors your dominant vibration. If your vibration is doubt, control, or resistance, you collapse the version of reality that matches those states. So, how do you break this loop? The first step is awareness of repetition. Start noticing where in your life you keep circling back to the same outcomes. Are you always attracting the same kind of partner, the same financial struggles, the same obstacles? That's your subconscious looping. The quantum signal was there, but you tuned it out. Write these loops down, not to shame yourself, but to see the pattern clearly. Once seen, it can be shifted. The second step is reframing discomfort. Signals often feel uncomfortable because they are pulling you into unfamiliar territory. That's why your body resists. But discomfort is not danger, it's expansion. Think of the final test we discussed before. When the universe mirrors your old patterns, it is not blocking you. It is asking you to choose differently. The same is true with signals. If you feel the nudge to act and it makes you slightly nervous, that's usually the sign you're moving beyond the old loop. Instead of recoiling, lean in. Your future self is on the other side of that discomfort. The third step is micro-trust. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. Start by following small signals. The ones that feel low risk. Maybe it's choosing a different route home, or saying yes to an invitation you would normally decline, or meditating when you feel the urge instead of scrolling your phone. Each time you honor a signal, you create evidence that trusting the field works, and the more evidence you have, the easier it becomes to trust with bigger decisions. It's like building muscle. Small repetitions compound into strength. Finally, recognize that ignoring signals is not failure, it's feedback. Every time you look back and think, I knew it, I should have listened, don't spiral into regret. Instead, treat it as training. The fact that you recognized even after the fact means you are becoming more aware. Next time, the gap between the signal and your action will be smaller. Eventually, there will be no gap. You will feel trust and move all as one flow. That is coherence. And coherence collapses reality in your favor. So ask yourself now, where have I been ignoring the whispers? Where have I been rationalizing away the nudges that don't fit my current logic? And what would happen if just for the next week, I decided to trust the signals, no matter how small? Because here's the truth. The life you want has already signaled itself to you. It's been showing up in coincidences, synchronicities, and gut feelings. If you're still waiting for proof, that is the loop. Break it by acting before proof appears. Proof is the byproduct of trust, never the prerequisite. And here's a reflection you can anchor into. Reality is not ignoring you. You're ignoring it. The signals are there waiting every day. The moment you stop tuning them out, the loop ends. And in that instant, your new reality begins. By now, you've probably realized something powerful. The signals have never stopped. They've always been there, quietly guiding you, inviting you to shift into a higher frequency reality. What changed today is not the field, it's your awareness of it. This is the real integration. Manifestation was never about learning 100 new techniques. It was about remembering that the compass has always been inside you. Your intuition, your nervous system, your subtle awareness. These are the instruments that tune you into the timeline your higher self already inhabits. The most important shift you can make now is to stop treating these signals as random coincidences and start honoring them as sacred instructions. Albert Einstein once said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." For most of your life, you've probably been worshipping the servant and ignoring the gift. Today, that ends. Today, you begin to live in alignment with the sacred gift of intuition, amplified by the science of the quantum field. This is the union of spirituality and physics, where inner knowing collapses into outer reality. And here's the deeper truth. You are not learning manifestation. You are remembering it. Every child naturally trusts signals. They act from instinct, joy, and curiosity. It's only through conditioning, schooling, and fear-based programming that we're taught to distrust what we feel and overvalue what we can prove. But the quantum does not wait for proof. It responds to frequency. That means your intuition, your heart coherence, your subtle sensations, they are not abstract fluff. They are data. Data from the field that is far more precise than the logic of a limited mind. So what happens next? Now you step into the practice of living this every single day. Start small. Notice one signal a day and honor it. Build the trust muscle. Breathe into your nervous system so that when the bigger signals come, the ones that will radically alter your trajectory, your body is not in panic, but in flow. This is why Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that regulating the nervous system is the foundation of supernatural living. When your body feels safe, your soul feels free to expand. The safer you feel, the louder the signals become and the easier it is to trust them. And if this video resonated with you, if you feel that something awakened inside you, this is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning. I've prepared something that goes even deeper, something that will help you stabilize this frequency, embody this awareness, and expand your capacity to manifest in alignment with the field. It's an ebook called Awaken Your Quantum Power, a guide to unlocking the 7 principles that activate your vibrational field. These are the keys that allow you to stop trying and start being. You'll find the link in the pinned comment below, and I invite you to make a conscious choice right now. Don't just consume this content and move on. Anchor it. Integrate it. Take this step into your next reality. Not tomorrow. Not when life feels easier. Now, because the signals you've been receiving are not random. They are the universe telling you you are ready. So as we close, remember this. You are not waiting for alignment. You are alignment. You are not chasing signs. You are the signal. The quantum field is not out there testing you or withholding from you. It's here responding in real time to your vibration, your awareness, your decision to trust what is already true. Stay with this energy, hold this frequency, and you'll find yourself walking into realities that once seemed impossible, not because you forced them, but because you finally allowed them. This is your activation. This is your remembrance. And this is your moment.